Welcome to another edition of the Social Proof Podcast, man. Y'all know that this podcast has been going strong for years now. We've been bringing you the right information. I do have a challenge, though. So historically, many people would ask, hey, David, can you do virtual interviews? I'm like, I am a relational person, and I want to really sit in somebody's face. The problem was, there are certain situations that I can't get the person if they don't fly into Atlanta, or I'm not, you know what I mean? Like if you're not coming to Atlanta, then I can't interview you. But there are certain things that need to happen. There are certain conversations that need to be had. And today is no different, okay? If you guys, let me just make sure. Hold on. Okay, yeah. So there are some urgent conversations that need to be had. So this next guest, she is no stranger to the Social Proof Podcast, and schedules could not align to where we can get her back and forth to Atlanta. So I'm like, yo, this is an urgent matter. We need to understand how we're going to build wealth in 2025, and I saw that she recently just eclipsed her 1,000th real estate door. 1,000 doors. Golly, listen, I'm not going to steal her thunder. I'm going to bring her to the stage. My partner, my sister, my friend, Miss Terrica Lynn Smith. What's up, sis?
What's up? What's up? What's up? Hey. David, can I just say thank you so much for all you do? And I mean, just you always place in the spotlight on, those, I'm gonna say us little people, right? That, do a lot of great things. And you share your platform, you share information, and you're constantly giving. So can I just give you your flowers and say thank you?
Man, I will take the flowers. I will take them
Yes, you
flowers.
deserve the
Thank
flowers.
you.
You deserve them flowers.
Thank you, man. But no, I mean, really, truly, because you announced it recently that you got to 1,000 doors. Can you explain what that means to me?
1K club, 1K club, 1K club. I am so super excited. For those who don't really know what that means, right? I tell you to visualize having 1,000 envelopes in your mailbox on the first of the month. That means 1,000 people are paying you rent. Okay.
Hmm.
Imagine 1,000 people paying you $500 a month. Can you just imagine that? Like the feeling that comes from that. Now, when I first got started, David, I didn't think like, oh, I was gonna like do 1,000. And I know people that got 5, 10,000 doors, right? But for me, somebody who got it out the mud, somebody who was a teenage mom, somebody that was in foster care all their life, someone that had every single statistic going against them to be able to reach this milestone, I am celebrating it because I don't celebrate enough of my wins. I'm so hard on myself. So when I hit this 1K, I like felt it like in my stomach. It was like, oh, this is real. Like you make the money monthly, you see it comes through, but it's different when you hear you got 1,000 residents.
Wow.
It's different.
Wow. Incredible. I mean, if people talk about multiple streams of income, but you
Yeah.
literally have 1,000 streams of income. I have 1,000 streams of income.
I mean,
Wowzers.
it's called buying income, right? That's what we teach, buying income. Like a lot of people don't understand that you can buy income. And what happens is most people spend most of their life earning their income versus buying their income. So can I break that down real quick?
Please,
Like what that means?
please.
Okay. Yeah. So in order for you to get a paycheck, you have to go and perform for it, right? That's called earn. So if you get sick, if, Lord forbid something happened to you, you're not able to work. If you don't have what is called PTO, because I have a corporate business now, I know what PTO is because I have to offer that. I think it's the craziest thing in the world, but I get it. Paid time off. I get it. I never got paid time off. But what happens is if you don't have that, then you have no income.
Mm.
And then So you're literally relying on your own strength to be able to provide for you and your family, right? And scripturally, that's not even biblical to do, right? So we don't rely on our own strength. We're supposed to rely on the Lord's, right? And so I think having multiple streams of income is extremely important because COVID taught us one stream of income is pretty close to none. And so when I started building out my real estate portfolio, I started with one ugly property, the ugliest house on the block. It was all I can afford. Everybody know the story, $5,000. And now I look up and I'm buying multi-million dollar buildings.
Mm.
And because of that, I think that people need to understand it's a difference when you can go to your mailbox and pick up a check versus when you got to wake up and go get a check. There's a
Mm.
difference.
I love that, man. And I like the fact that you're putting it out there because even when I hear it, I hear, wow, it's possible. Because there's
Yes.
levels to it, right? Somebody might have a job and they have one stream of income, right? And the
Yep.
next level is, okay, maybe I'm a barber or a hairstylist and I have, 10 clients that come to me on a regular. That might be 10 streams of income because 10 different people are paying you, but you still have to go work for it, right? Or
Yep.
there's another level where I don't do that type of work, but I'm a content creator and I have, I put out videos and those become streams of income, which I don't have to, it's not like a one-to-one, like I do the thing and make money, but as
Mhm.
a social media digital creator, I still have to continue to create. And if I don't create well, I
Mhm.
don't get paid well. If I don't
Yes.
promote well, I don't get paid well. But what I think is so interesting about the level that you're on is you pretty much set it and forget it. Like those are
Yes.
true streams of income. And you may have someone leave, but I think with the housing shortage that we're facing
Yeah.
right now, there will always be
Mhm.
somebody coming back.
Absolutely.
The
Absolutely. For sure.
levels. The levels.
Yeah.
Before we
There's
get into my
levels.
first real question, I do want to talk about a property that we get. We're not going to talk about like all the details, but there was a property that Terrica helped me buy years ago. And long story short, some things came up, and we were on a call yesterday, and you were educating me on how we can pivot, and
Mhm.
you really just made the situation a lot easier. So I before I got this call, T,
Mhm.
I forgot. Not that I forgot, but I never ever think about these properties. But once the situation came up where, we're talking to the bank about the property and all that, I went
Yeah.
to go look at it. This property has been paying me four figures almost every month for like 4 years.
Yeah.
But I didn't know. Like, I don't even, the money, that account, I don't even look at that account. So I looked into the account. I said, oh, crap, this is incredible. I was like, I need more of them. I say all that to say, I kind of have a small glimpse of what those 1,000 doors feel like, T, on a very small
Yes.
level.
Yes. But and another thing is this, right? A lot of people say, real estate money is very slow money. It's not fast money. And what I would say to that is that I plan to I plan to be here for a very long time and I want to be able to control my time. So right now you may have to work. Right now you may have to cut 10 heads a day. But in 20 to 30 years, you're not going to want to do that. So why not build for that time where you're able to retire? Like this, I'm turning 40 this year, David, in a few
Mm.
months.
No, for
And
sure,
40,
for
I
sure.
said I was retiring at 40. So I even had people reach out to me to come on as clients. And I said, hey, I'm scaling back my business because I'm
Mm.
planning for retirement.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Goodness gracious. T, you are incredible. So look, I need so I have some other real estate too. But I want to go
You have a
real
lot.
aggressive. I want to go real aggressive this year on experiencing what I'm experiencing right now. So
Yeah.
I do want the reason this conversation is so urgent right now is because
Hmm.
there's a lot going on in the world. and we are about to change presidents who have different beliefs and a
Mhm.
different strategy.
Mhm.
So for us, I want to know what that means from your perspective, the change in the guard from Biden administration to the Trump administration, specifically when it comes to real estate.
Yeah, so what I would let me just speak on what I believe is going to take place, if that makes sense, right? So Trump is known for real estate. Okay, so obviously real estate is going to be extremely important to him as a president because he owned quite a bit of it. He's a huge investor. In fact, he was a billionaire before he was even a president, right? And so he knows the pain points that investors have to go through in order to be able to provide housing. Now, in 2023, NAR says that there's a 4 million home shortage. That's 4 million home shortages. That is huge,
Mm.
right? But let me tell you why I believe it is, right? As a real estate developer, as someone who build homes, it the regulations that they send you through as a builder, as a developer to be able to get the homes constructed is becoming more and more expensive by
Mm.
the day. And so what Trump mentioned was that he was going to look at a lot of these policies and these requirements and these codes, these building codes and different things like that they are imposing on developers and builders. A lot of people don't know we have to do traffic studies, which means that costs thousands of dollars to be able to develop a community just to create a traffic study just to make sure your community is going to be able to comply with the traffic that takes place in the area, right?
Oof.
So there's so many different studies that take place as a developer. And so what Trump is saying is, hey, we're still going to build good quality homes, but we need to make it more affordable to the masses because our average home price right now, probably in Atlanta, Georgia, may be 400,000 to 500,000. In California, it may be 800,000 to 900,000. In Louisiana, it may be 200,000 to $300,000. We have to create home affordability for those people who's working and want to be able to own a home. The other thing is interest rates. Interest rates are going to have to drop for buyers to be able to afford these properties. Right now, if you think about it, it's cheaper to rent than own right now because of
Mm.
the interest rates and the amount of money that they're requiring you to put down. So I believe in order for our market to take a shift, a few things have to happen, right? The local government, number one, is going to have to make investing more attractive to developers to come into their communities. The second thing is they're going to have to give some sort of tax incentives to bring different businesses such as Dave and Buster's, such as Topgolf, such as these large franchises into the area where people are going to want to live at, right? And then, of course, the pricing of the home. The reason why I build my homes recession proof, and I call them recession proof, because I don't build anything over $200,000.
Mm.
And the reason why I do that is because I know the average income in the area that I'm in is between $30,000 to $60,000. So these people would never be able to qualify. And this is a two-person home. I'm saying $30,000 to $60,000 a year
Wow.
with. These people would never be able to qualify for a home if the average sales price is $250,000 to $300,000. So at some point, something has to give. I'm not building a lower grade home than the luxury home builders. I'm just building a more efficient home. I call them economy friendly homes where people such as cafeteria workers and the managers at Popeyes and the managers at Walmart and all of these different people who may not make six figures a year, now they can afford a brand new construction home that's less than 200,000. So I think we're going to see a lot with the Trump administration. In fact, I read an article where Trump is going to be doing some land grants, which incentivize investors to apply for those grants to be able to provide affordable housing. Now, where do this?
Hold on. So you're
Okay,
saying
go ahead.
under the Trump administration, they're trying to
Hmm.
provide land grants, meaning
Yes.
money to buy and build, or just buy the land? What do you thinking that means?
Yeah, so a lot of people don't understand that a lot of land is owned by the government, right? So when people, there's tax liens, there's all different type of ways that the government owns property. And so what they're saying is that, hey, maybe we can offer these parcels of lands that we have, these acreages of land, to individual developers who can come in and agree to build affordable housing, not subsidized housing. I'm talking about true affordable housing to the masses. Because if you have
Hold on. I'm so sorry because I don't
okay.
want to get lost. What's the difference between affordable and subsidized? I don't understand.
Right. All right. So subsidized is meaning that the government is going to give you a portion of that development cost to be able to develop those communities, right?
Hmm.
Affordable is typically used with subsidized developments, but in my case, affordable just means I'm building within their income bracket. So I'm using affordable based on income, not based off of what the government would give me. So what Trump is saying is, hey, I want to offer, just like he did with the opportunity zone, right? He found these rural tract areas where investors were able to go and buy large parcels of land and start developing it. Now, yes, some people gentrified the areas, but you got developers such as myself who truly built out communities and put people back into housing and having them have the chance for home ownership.
So, I mean, emotions out of it. It doesn't matter who you voted for, but this will be a good year to really start learning the game of real estate, right?
Yes, and what I'll say is this, right? Everybody should be investors, no matter what. You are I taught this on a class a few days ago, right? Poor people are rich people assets.
Poor people are rich people assets.
Right.
Oh
So
man, I just got it. I understood.
you understand, right? So people will spend their last on a pair of J's that just came out. Think about it,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
So if I'm spending, because to me, a pair of Jordans is a liability. It's not an asset to me. To David, it may be an asset because he got thousands of them, right? But to the normal, right, who's waiting in the line using their hard-earned money that they spent hours to make to go buy a pair of shoes that they just want to wear just to be known, Jordan is a billionaire because of it. He just came out with Valentine Jordans. Did you see those?
Mm-mm.
Yeah, they're pink. They're like the Valentine Jordans, like the Jordan, I think it's like the Jordan 4s or something like that with the cement going across it. They going crazy over it right now. But I'm not going to just use Michael Jordan as an example, okay? I'll use Louis Vuitton. I'll use Chanel, right? Anytime we're buying these luxury items, right? This is income being put back into billionaires' pockets. So they rely on us to remain consumers so we can continue building their generations.
Poor people are rich people's assets. My gosh. We
Yeah.
got okay. There are some poor, I use the word poor loosely, but people that aren't where they'd like to be financially. What
Yeah.
are the
Can I
next
break down
steps?
poor too?
Come on,
Well,
talk to
can I
me.
just break? Yeah, let me break down poor. Poor means passing over opportunities repeatedly. Okay.
Mm.
That's the poor I'm talking about. I'm not talking literally in your bank account. I'm talking you'll pass up an opportunity to go buy a pair of J's or a section in the club before you actually make an investment into yourself. You would question your actual investment when somebody bring you an opportunity before you question the $400 section that you're going to buy in the club. That's what poor means to me. Just so we
100%.
clear.
Yeah, for sure. And I think both of us, but you more so, have been the other real poor too. Like the poor, like I have
Yeah.
nothing.
Yeah. Yeah.
How do
Yes.
we start to turn the corner? What is our philosophy or strategy for the person you're building houses for, right? And you are a good
Yeah.
example, right? Because
Right.
you are a wealthy person and you
Mhm.
build affordable housing, though it's a good thing so that this group of people can have somewhere to live. They're still your
Mhm.
asset because they're poor, right? Not poor in a bad sense, but below the poverty line. For
Mhm.
somebody that's in that situation, let's say they make 30 to 60,000, they don't always have to be there, right? But let's try to
Mhm.
take you to put you back in their shoes. They're one of your
Mhm.
tenants, and they come to you and say, Terrica, listen, I know I pay you rent every month, or the government pays it for me, however, but I want to start building wealth. I just don't have much. What
Yes.
do you tell them?
That's a great thing. So first things first, right? I may have 1,000 residents. I educate each and every last one of our
Mm,
residents, right? So I don't want them to remain a tenant. I teach them how to, number one, first go buy your own property. Okay, like most people be like, yeah, don't go buy it your first property, go buy an investment. No, go buy a roof to put over your head, so that way if I decide to sell the building and the new owner come in and he want to give everybody a 30-day notice to vacate because he want to raise rents and he want to do all type of upgrades, you wouldn't be
mm,
affected by it, right? And
yeah.
so what I tell, when I tell my residents, I said, hey, the first thing you have to do is you have to get knowledge, right? Knowledge makes us unfit to be a slave. I forgot who that was. I think it was Roosevelt maybe said that, or Booker T. Washington, one of them, right? Knowledge makes us unfit to be a slave. So the more knowledge you get, even the people that's on this call right now and they're listening, it's making them unfit to remain in the exact same situation that they in. Because if you heard me say that poor people are rich people assets, you can't unhear what I just said. So the first thing I would tell you to do is, number one, start working on building your credit, right?
Mhm.
If you already have good credit, number two is take that tax return that you get every single year and you may go buy a car or you may go pay off all your bills. Go use that as a down payment to be able to get finance for a house. Then the third thing I would tell you is to find a real estate agent who works with first time home buyers. See if there's any programs in the areas that's offering grants for first time home buyers, single mothers, any type of program that's available that can help you with your down payment assistance in case you don't have a tax return. And then from there, get with that realtor to get a lender so you can start shopping. Sometimes you just need to go to an open house to see what's out there. I
Mm.
remember Steve Harvey say, buy a first class plane ticket, right? And see what it feels like to sit at the front of the plane. Now, every time I fly somebody, we go first class. They say, "Why? You're so bougie." I said, "No, I value my time. I'm
Come
on the
on.
plane first. I'm off the plane first. My baggage come out first because they got a little yellow tag that says priority,
Come
right?"
on, T.
And so I enjoy paying for those conveniences. So what I'm telling you is that even if you're not in a situation to actually buy right now, go to the open houses in your area. They are free. Go look around and start visualizing and start praying and asking God to give you resources to be able to obtain what it is you're actually looking at. Because I truly believe a lot of people have fear of what they cannot get and do. And because they may be told no, it keeps them stuck in the same exact
Mm.
place.
Ooh, wait, T. Oh my gosh, this is so good. This is so good. All right. Um, question for you. I am an entrepreneur, and though I do file and pay my taxes, a lot of entrepreneurs don't. Okay, and we may have
Yeah.
challenges, getting all the stuff that the bank requires, right? So,
Yes.
how do we get around that?
So we got to stop operating our businesses like, I don't want to be rude, right? But we got to stop operating our business like, like we just don't have no common sense, right?
Hmm.
I think what's important is this. I remember the very first time I had to pay the government. It was like $10,000, David, at this time. And I was all on social media dragging Uncle Sam. I was talking about how bad the IRS is. I got to pay them $10,000 in taxes. Today, I would gladly pay those $10,000 and shut up and be quiet,
With a
right?
smile.
And yeah, you know what I'm saying? With a smile. And so, what I would tell you is this: you cannot be paper poor when you're trying to be an investor. Right now, you're not doing your taxes, you're not keeping up with your expenses, you're not keeping up with what's coming in and going out of your bank account. You're not reconciling your books. You're not preparing yourself to be in a position to ever own anything. You won't ever be able to own anything if you do not properly prepare. They're going to ask you for a particular set of records, right? I feel like the guy off of Taken, I have a particular set of skills, okay? Right? But they're going to want to see 2 years tax returns. They're going to want to see deposits in your bank account. They're going to want you to have they're going to want to see your work history, right? They're going to want your credit score to be a certain thing, a certain number. So those are things that you just want to do as an adult. It's called being responsible, right?
Hmm.
It's called handling your business the right way, and not just, I hate when people say stop treating your company like a black company, because I know a lot of successful black multi-million dollar companies. So I would never say that, but you need to stop treating your company like it's just a hobby or like a pet project, and start treating it like a real business entrepreneurs. Because if you're an entrepreneur, that's who I'm talking to right now.
Hmm. 100%. All right. So one, we got to stop operating in that way. But
Mhm.
historically, we haven't. Give me some
Mhm.
strategy in 2025 on for a entrepreneur who doesn't have a whole lot of income or income statements necessarily, or I have the income statement, but I haven't been filing the taxes. Are there any programs for people like that?
No, you cannot get along without filing your taxes, bruh. Like, no, there ain't no program to help you get around that, right? Maybe owner financing, okay? And still, you want to file your taxes. Like, I'm not gonna tell people not to go file taxes. You need to handle your business as an adult and make sure that you are bankable on paper. Because if you're listening and you're saying, hey, I want to be an investor, I want to have 1,000 checks coming to me. Well, in order to do that, you have to prove that you are bankable. If you're not bankable on paper, they're not going to give you the money. So we're always looking for a shortcut, right?
Mhm.
And sometimes there may be one, but in this instance, there's no shortcut. You have to file your taxes. What I'll tell you, one strategy I'll tell you guys is get familiar with what's called a PFS. It's called a
PFF.
personal financial statement. Okay. I update my personal financial statement. I have to do mine every 30 days because I'm always investing and selling real estate. So I need to know on my schedule 7 and that's the real estate section. There's probably 12, 10, 12 schedules to the personal financial statement. But I remember not knowing how to fill one of those out. And I was applying for my first investment property with the bank, and the banker gave me the form and act like I knew what to do with it. And you know what I did, David? I act like I knew what to do with it. I went home, I filled it out, I brought it back, and it was wrong. He said, hey, Terrica, I think you may have made a few errors on your personal financial statement. You want to check it for me? I said, oh, yeah, let me check it. I was rushing through it. Let me just take my time, right? So I redo it again, sent it back to him. He said, hey, come in my office. I'm gonna talk with you about your personal financial statement. I'm like, oh, great. They're gonna deny me because of this stupid PFS form, right? He said, I want to show you how to fill this out because I can tell by the way you're filling this out, you don't know what you're doing.
Mm-hmm.
I said, okay. So he took me from the summary page all the way to the last schedule, and he showed me what my net worth was. And at the time, my net worth wasn't even $100,000 when they were giving me this loan. The only asset I had was that $5,000 rental property I bought that appraised for $60,000 after I finished the renovations. So when I seen that I had way more liabilities on there, like I had all of my credit cards, I had all of the cars, I had way more liabilities than I had assets. He looked at me and said, you need to turn this number around.
Mm.
You shouldn't be like you shouldn't be in parentheses, right? And so once he explained to me how to fill out a personal financial statement, and I'm telling every
Hold on,
entrepreneur,
real quick. You said you shouldn't be in
mhm,
parentheses. What do you mean?
like you shouldn't have way more liabilities than assets.
Got it.
That makes sense?
On the statement, parentheses
Yes, it's
mean it's negative.
negative.
Okay, I got you.
Yes. Yes. So what happens is I start paying attention to that because I never knew how banks looked at you on paper. But when they ask you for that personal financial statement, and now I have all of these properties on there, right? I have money in other places. I have loans that I have that are on my personal financial statements as receivables. Now that I have all of this, guess what happens? I'm bankable now.
Mm.
So get a personal financial statement. You can Google one, you can print it out, you can ask the little AI person, I don't know who they like the AI thing that people use, how to fill out a personal financial statement. Just start there.
I love that. I I do have this question. So there's two different strategies. I'm thinking I can just go buy a house. Let's say I get a property, $150,000. Let's say, for instance, my mortgage is I don't know 700, and I can rent it out for 1,500. Well, uh, I I'm looking at like a what is that $700 or $800 profit, right?
Mhm.
That is one way of investing in real estate. But I know you have me in a couple deals where I don't own the whole thing. Maybe I own a portion of it. I put money in and I get my dividends out throughout a quarter. No?
David, you own the whole thing.
Okay. Educate
Okay,
me.
I can't.
Educate me.
All right. So this is the thing, guys. There's no such thing as breaking off of a piece of building and giving it to an investor. Okay. If you invest in 100 doors, you get paid off of the revenue that's generated from the 100 doors based on the percentage that you own. That don't mean you don't own 100 doors. Your equity position that you get paid out of may not be 100%, but you can't tell me, and this is how I explain it to my students. If you come into a 100 unit deal and you put in, let's just say $100,000 and it's a $3 million asset, right? So you mean to tell me you own maybe a half of a door? It don't go like that, right? So on your statement, they're going to say, how much equity do you have in this deal, right? How much ownership, correction, how much ownership do you have in this deal? So you're going to say, I have 10 to 15%, whatever that number is, right? They're going to say how many units it is. You're going to say it's 100 units. They're going to say, okay, you own the whole entire building, just like I own the whole entire building. We just
Mm.
own it at different percentages. That's it.
Why? I never looked at it that way.
I mean, if you want me to break you off a piece of brick, just let me know.
So here's the thing. I like the model of, because real estate, it can be a headache, right? If I have a property, and I've been through this before, I have a property and I'm renting it out to tenants and I got to collect the rent and they ain't got it. And like, yo, Dave, they didn't call me Mr. Shands or anything. I was young. Hey, Dave, man, I'm going to pay you next week. And don't ever move your family in. Whole nother conversation, okay?
Whole nother topic.
There's two different ways of going about it. Either I go find a deal, I buy it, manage it, all that kind of stuff myself, or I can do group economics. I know you're really big on group economics. Maybe you can explain from scratch the difference between the two, kind of pros and cons.
Mhm. Well, first, let me just mention on that first statement, you said you can buy it and you can manage it. You're still creating earned income. Okay? So,
What? Man, it felt
yeah,
so earned. That income felt
yes,
so earned.
yes, that is earned. If you're still managing it and it relies on you, you are still having earned income that is not passive, right?
Mhm.
So what I have is I have a property management company, and under my property management company, I have who's my asset manager. She is the one who's over all of my site managers throughout all of my properties. So if I have properties in different states, those are site managers who's managing those properties. There's no way I can handle 1,000 units by myself. There's no way
Mhm.
I can do that physically, right? And so I have built out a team where my asset manager reports to me directly. I may not never talk to a site manager. I'm only talking to my asset manager who's making sure that my assets are being protected. That's making sure that my occupancy rate is making sure that my occupancy rate is on track and that it's not low, and that we don't have a bunch of vacant units, because now the asset manager has to meet with the site managers and say, hey, your vacancy rate right now is extremely high. We need to see what we can do about this. So when I built out my business, I didn't always have a property management company. Your girl was in there knee deep. I was getting the plumbing calls. I was getting, the electrical calls. Lord forbid, a hurricane come, we get those calls. And so what happens is I had to stop being a hustler and become a CEO.
Mm.
I had to stop hustling because I hustled my way all the way up until this point because nobody never taught me how to be successful. Nobody never showed me a blueprint. So everything I did, I bootstrapped it. So because I bootstrapped it, I was a hustler. I'm going to be here, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. How many of us out there right now, if you just been honest with yourself, you a hustler. You like handling 10 different things at one time. It wasn't until I realized that I was not going to be able to leave my children this empire that I'm building if I'm the only one that's knowing what's going on inside of the deal. So now what happens is my asset manager knows what's going on. My site managers knows what's going on. My CFO knows what's going on. Me as the CEO, I know what's going on, but I only have to have one conversation with one person. I don't have to talk to my 6, 7, 8 different site managers. They are the ones who's managing the properties and making sure that they're performing well. That is how you create passive income. That's how you set up a correct rental business for sure if you want to be an investor.
Got it. Which it starts to make sense now because you have an inner circle group of people where, including myself, I'm in your inner circle where you'll
Yes.
bring a deal
Shout
to the
out to the inner
table.
circle.
Shouts out to the
Yep.
inner circle. You'll bring a
Shout out
deal
to
to
my
the
baby.
table. She throw it
Yep.
in the group chat. Hey, look, in the comment section, look, comment, put me in if you want to be in the group chat. Terrica, throw a
Yeah.
group chat, a deal in the group chat. Hey, y'all, this is how much it is. This is how much the seats at the table are. Who wants in? And people are investing. So now it's making sense because you have the property management company, you have a corporation that runs all of these
Yes.
deals so that I just get to invest and I don't have to go check on the property and cut the
Correct.
grass and all that kind of
That's
stuff.
right. Well, and let me say this, right? Because I do want to talk about why I started partnering with people and why I have partnerships in group economics, right? One person can only go so far, right? The Bible tells us, one can chase 1,000, but two can chase 10,000, right? And so when I apply that principle into my business, I know by myself, I may have a certain buying power where I'm able to buy up to X amount. But when we come together as a community, when we come together as a group and we start putting our funds together, and y'all,
Hmm.
we're not no new real estate investment fund, okay? Our investors get returns quarterly, okay? So it's not like something we're figuring out and bringing people along the way for the trials and error. No, we have real investors who are a part of these investments, like David and a lot of your other favorite influencers in the world.
Hmm.
They are a part of these investments, and they get their dividend check like clockwork because they put in money. Now that's one less thing that they have to do to generate income because they just put money in there. And so I believe in group economics when it's done correctly. I operate by the law. So we have this 200-page document that costs us $20,000 pretty much every time we create one, right? For a group of investors to be able to join with us to make sure we tell you all the ways you can possibly lose your money and all the ways you can make money, right? So we never sugarcoat anything. I think us coming together, pulling our money together, it just gives us more buying power. And the other thing is this: one person may not be able to go to the bank and get $3 million, but I can go to the bank and get $3 million. So why wouldn't you want to partner with someone who already have the buying power and the capabilities to be able to do that? Now, some people would say, well, why would I invest in a group? That's a scarcity mindset, because I believe when you invest with the right people, and we've been doing this for a very long time now, and by the grace of God, we've been very successful. We win together, and when we win big.
Hmm.
So I encourage people, you know what I'm saying? Find the right group, find the right team, find the right partners, and make sure you do your research on them. I tell everybody, don't just give me your money because you saw me on social proof. Don't just give me your money because I was on Earn Your Leisure. Don't do that. Go and do your research on me. Go Google me. Go see if I got, you know what I'm saying, any type of cases pending against me. Because at the end of the day, when you trust someone with your hard earned investment, you want to make sure that they send it back with a return. And that's what I focus on.
I love it. Somebody asked a question. I think this is a really, really good question. Is this available for non-accredited investors, or do you have to have, do you have to have the $250,000 to be able to invest $10,000 into a syndicate deal?
That's a great question. So some investments we do have is for accredited investors only. And just for those of you who don't know, right? The SEC created this term, sophisticated investors, accredited investors, right? And this was created to be able to protect investors from investing into investments that they really didn't know much about, and people would just take advantage of them. And so you have to make a certain amount of money a year, and or have a certain amount of assets in order to be considered a accredited investor. If I'm remembering correctly, I believe it's $250,000 for a single person, and or 1 million in real estate assets, not including your primary residence. And so to become an accredited investor, that's a process. But in order, like when you invest with us, you don't necessarily have to be accredited for some of the deals. We make it where, those investors who may not be accredited, they know all the risks that's associated with it, and we create a partnership with them. So that kind of goes around that accredited requirement, because if you're a partner in something, you may not have the same requirements as an accredited investor who's just investing and have no dealings with the operations of the investment.
Solid, solid. Before I kind of get into how people can, get in touch with you, or how they can be added to the group chat, or they can, learn it, especially for those, just comment in the chat, man, if you are if you want to really learn real estate this year, I mean, you really want to get into real estate. You want to at least own your first property, or you might own your own first property and you want to get an investment property this year. I know you have some 2025 strategies that people need to adhere to this year. So go ahead
Yeah.
and share those with us.
Well, one of the first things I would say is this: don't trust what you see on social media,
The
right?
facts.
Trust the numbers, right?
Mm-hmm.
Get with a coach or a mentor. Hire someone who can teach you how to underwrite real estate investment deals and to be able to help you analyze if it's going to be a good real estate investment or not, right? The second thing I would say is that your first funding option may not necessarily be your best funding option.
Okay.
What does that mean, right? You may just know to go to the bank, but there's private money, there's OPM is what we call other people money, where you're using private capital bank money. There's so many different ways. So you don't just have to settle with the first term sheet you get from a bank. You need to shop that term sheet. I always recommend that you get at least 3 term sheets and compare. What are you comparing? You're comparing the rates, you're comparing the conditions of the loan that they're giving you. If they have prepayment penalties, which means if you pay this off early, what's the penalty for that? There's reasons why you want to not just go with one person just because they said yes, right? And then the third thing I would say is appraisals. If you do get to that point, appraisals is one man opinion. Okay, that is the person who's determining the value of the property that you're getting. But because you're going to get a coach and or a mentor that's going to help you underwrite deals, they should be able to give you what's called the ARV, after repair value. After you repair that property, they should be able to help you find comps, which are comparables, which are properties that are similar to the property you're looking at investing into, and help you come up with an actual value for that property that actually makes sense. So that way you can combat a bad appraisal if you get one.
I love that. I love that. Look, man, we don't want to. I just wanted to have this conversation right now, especially all the stuff that's going on. Oh, last thing before we get into how they can connect with you. I
Yes.
made a post maybe a couple weeks ago where I see all of these store closings. I'm talking about big lots. We see Family Dollars all over the place. We see CVS's and
Mhm.
Walgreens shutting down. These are big buildings that
Yes.
someone owns, but if the
Yes.
major tenant is leaving, or I don't know if these stores own the real estate, what is that meaning for commercial real estate, man? Because we're seeing a lot of commercial companies crashing.
Yeah, so they're not innovative, right? They're not keeping up with the trends of the market. And so you're going to see a lot more of that. There's a lot of competition with Amazon and Walmart, Instacart. All of these companies are making it way more convenient for people to get things that they need from these stores
Mm-hmm.
without having to go in there. So these stores, such even as Family Dollar, right? When have you known Family Dollar to be anything other than Family Dollar? They have not changed their model in years. So
Yeah.
what happens is you see the blockbuster effect taking place right now on these retail partials that are coming available. The second thing is this: Dollar Generals and Walmarts, they typically do long-term leases for these actual buildings. So what happens is these landlords are stuck with these buildings now after the tenants have moved out, and because interest rates are where they are, and or because their balloon payments may have popped and now their terms are being readjusted because their loan has matured, they are finding themselves in a pretty sticky situation.
Mm.
So I would say that these stores that are closing down are not innovative. They're the red boxes. Who remember Blockbuster was put out by Redbox. Redbox was put out by Netflix. Who's going to interrupt Netflix?
Mm. So, well, with all of these non-innovative businesses going out of business, What do you think starts to happen with this commercial real estate market? Do you think it gets affected at all?
Oh, absolutely. I definitely think it's gonna become affected because you're gonna have a bunch of shells, right? So what happens is, you know, the larger Amazon get, the more manufacturing space that they need.
Hmm.
Okay, just keep that in mind, right? So there's a reason why Mark Zuckerberg is buying hundreds of acres here in Louisiana,
Really?
hundreds of acres in Louisiana. Let me just be clear, Lafayette, Louisiana. So they're going to these places people never even heard of, buying large parcels of real estate. And I believe it's because they're manufacturing, and the things that they're putting out, they don't have the capacity with where they are now. And the
Hmm.
demand for the convenience of people shopping online is only going to continue to grow. And so with these partials that are you seeing vacant right now, and you seeing that these landlords pretty much are willing to do whatever to get you into a building,
Hmm.
they are going to become a lot more negotiable on the terms that they're offering. And I also believe because of COVID, this affected a lot of the commercial real estate marketplaces. So all of these office buildings that you did not mention, you mentioned retail. Office spaces are still empty. People are not going back to work in the buildings because the owners of the company is realizing they overhead cost is a lot cheaper having their employee staff work from home and come on Zoom to have meetings. So I
Yeah.
think what happens is there's gonna have to be some type of creative, innovative way where the commercial market is going to be able to withstand the times that's coming ahead. I think another thing that we're going to see a lot of is these drop ship stations popping up, where we're able to drop off things that we want to be able to send off and return. Like just the other day, I went into Whole Foods to return a package to Amazon. I was blown away by that.
Hmm. That's interesting.
Whole Foods have a whole Amazon return section.
Oh. You know what I see, man? If especially like you were saying, these tenants are long-term tenants, and the companies typically don't want to buy the building, right? So whoever owns the
Mhm.
building is leasing it out to Dollar General, CVS, or whatever, right?
Yep. Mhm.
So do you feel like it's going to be opportunity to buy those? Because if this landlord thought they was going to get this $30,000 every single month for the rest of their life because these buildings weren't going out of, these businesses weren't going out of business, they might be willing to take significantly less than the value to just cash out, because what's the odds of them finding another tenant to occupy that much space?
Yeah, no, absolutely. I definitely think that that's going to be a big option. I don't know if you've seen that Amazon just released their drone drop off packages.
Cool.
Yeah,
No.
so they're trying to be able to get your packages to you within 10 to 20 minutes.
Hmm. Game changer.
It's a game changer.
Game changer.
So I mean, you're gonna ask yourself, everything you can go into the store and buy, you can get it at your house in 10 to 15 minutes. Which one are you choosing?
Sheesh. Sheesh. Yo, listen, man. I'm excited about this year, man. I'm excited about
Yes,
this year of being the year of more real estate deals. I'm gonna
yes,
drop. I'm gonna drop. So next week, you're gonna be doing your challenge, which you don't do often. I know some people do once a
yeah.
month education, but I think you do. How many a year do you do your classes?
Two. I do two a year because I
Twice
sell
a
real
year.
estate in real life. Yeah, I work in the real estate business in real life. Yeah. So
Okay.
I open up the challenge twice a year. And actually we're starting our titanium class starts on this Sunday. And then we also next week actually is the official kickoff for the property challenge. And you can go to www.thepropertychallenge.com to register. We have taught thousands of students within 5 days on how to be able to recognize a deal, how to analyze a deal. And we've also given hundreds of students chances and opportunities to be able to walk with us and to be able to invest with us and partner with us. And we have been doing this. This is actually our 7th cohort. Can you believe that?
Sheesh. Wow.
There's something
Wow.
special about this number 7 that's taking place. All
Yeah.
these new people that's coming in 2025, this has already been a year that's declared a double portion. So just imagine coming in into this year receiving a double portion of what it is you've been expecting for the past 10 to 15 years, and you get a double portion in 2025 just for being obedient. It's
Man,
gonna be
look,
so good.
I got a really good question for you. Out of 7 cohorts where you do the class, twice a year, right? Out of these 7
Mhm.
cohorts, how do you have an idea of how many people you've helped invest in real estate?
Yeah, so we have helped over 70% of the ones who followed the program own real estate.
70%?
Yes, 70%. Our
So,
students, let me
go,
let me just give an example. Okay, our last property challenge was in May of last year. We have students now who has 100 doors. We have some that has 104 doors. We have some that has 1 door. We have some that has 5 doors. But the people that work the program works for them.
that's a fact. I know I'm getting close to 100. I'm getting close to 100.
David, you over 100.
Am I over 100?
You just invested in a 104 unit door with me.
Oh, so that last one was 100. Yo, shouts out to me. Yo, let me tell y'all real quick, and y'all think I'll be playing. Terrica says I have a deal, right? And she'll explain it to me. But I trust Terrica so much, how much? And I invest that. And she'll send me over the
Yes.
paperwork, and then I'll sign it. I didn't know. So the last one we just did,
Yes. That was 104 doors by itself.
I'm almost at 200 then.
David, I don't keep track of your doors anymore like I used to, but I think you're up there now.
Yo,
You're up
here's
there now.
no lie. I'm not even going to lie to y'all. I'm not going to cap y'all down, okay? I get a check. Well, I get a couple checks every quarter for these investments, and I just get excited about the checks. But I be so oblivious to what they like represent because I mean, I'm a content creator. I'm an entrepreneur. And see, I trust you with my money. I trust you with my real estate. You teach me along the
Thank you.
way. And I don't want y'all to think that like I'm doing this for theatrics. I don't know. I just know T be like, yo, we got this deal. I'm like, let's
I need to
go.
give an example. We sent David a dividend check. Okay. This is the only human I know who forgets to deposit a dividend check. He calls me and say, "Hey T, I have this dividend check." And guys, it's like
I'm trying to
like
find the text.
yeah, it's thousands of dollars, okay? And he sends it to me and we say, "David, you never deposited your dividend check?" So we had to put him on ACH because there's no way he should. I mean, it was months of him holding that dividend check. So when he say he truly trusts me, he truly trusts me with that.
Yo,
Okay. I'm like, bruh,
yo, I'm
go
trying to
put the
find the
money in the
text.
bank.
I'm trying to find the text where I sent you like, hey T, did I cash this already?
Yes.
My wife was cleaning
Yes.
up. Here we go, right here.
Yeah.
I wish I could like really show y'all. Look, I said this. I said, hey, I sent her this check, right? And she
Yeah.
said, you didn't cash the check. You can cash when that.
I'm like,
Yeah, that joke
bruh,
was 6th grade.
yes. It's real. That is so serious. Yeah.
Oh, I love you too. Thank you. I just
I
want to say
love you
thank
too,
you.
brother.
Listen,
Yes.
man, go to thepropertychallenge.com/Shans so that y'all know, so that she know that I sent y'all, that y'all sent it here. I believe it is, what day does it start? What day does it start? January 12th, this Sunday. This Sunday.
Yes.
I'm going to throw it in the chat real quick one more time, thepropertychallenge.com. Put the /Shans on there so that she knows that I sent you, okay? I appreciate you so much. Oh, what are they going to learn in these 5 days?
Oh no, it's going to be so good. I have completely changed like the entire course of it. But real quick, the first thing you're going to do is you're going to get out of that slave mentality of having to work for $1. On day 1, I'm going to bust that with the myth busters. On day 2, I'm going to teach you guys how to underwrite deals on multifamily and fix and flips. On day 3, I'm going to teach you guys how to get funding for those deals. On day 4, I'm going to show you guys how I play Monopoly in real life. And on day 5, you'll be walking with your girl into 2025 owning real estate. Let's go.
Let's go. Let's go.
Let's go.
T, I appreciate you so much this year. Let's go bigger. Let's go better. More equity. More people getting into
Yes.
homes, man. And most importantly, more people investing in real estate, building out their future. So, T, I appreciate you.
Yes. I love you, brother. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. Love you too.
I love you guys. Thank y'all for always receiving me. I love y'all. Thank you.
Absolutely. Hey, listen, man, make sure y'all go to thepropertychallenge.com /Shans. Let her know I sent you. This is going to be the year of investment. And I'm really excited, man. Regardless of who y'all voted for, this is going to be the time you want to get into real estate, okay? So I will put the link below as well if you're not watching this during the live stream. And I will see y'all next week. We out here. Peace.
Peace.